Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I remember when I was a boy, let's say about 7th grade, 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade, I used to stay evenings with friends which were most of the time older than I was, and we were discussing how the end of the world will come. And we thought that the divinity will come down and tell us this and that. And I gotta tell you that we are most of the time in consensus that the end of the world will occur when the Soviets and the Americans will accidentally get into a little scuffle, and then that would increase into a nuclear war. As children as we were, that was our understanding of the world. The problem is, obviously I'm an adult right now, and now that I'm thinking with the brain of a child, but it seems like this is the most likely scenario, where you have Russians and Americans getting in a little scuffle somewhere, an accident occurs, and everything escalates in such a short time that the planet will be blown up. But nowadays you don't have to be, the scuffle doesn't have to be between the Americans and the Russians only. It could be the Americans and the Chinese, and Americans and others, and American and others. Americans unfortunately play a role of a policeman on this planet, and a lot of people don't like it. They call it world order, but nobody appointed that particular country as being the policeman of this world order. Nevertheless, United States, unfortunately, because there are good things and bad things, is stick its nose in every big war, or wherever something occurs, United States is there somehow by defending the truth or something, which makes you think that maybe it is the one, or one of the the many, that is scheming and creating problems. What happened now? I'm not blaming United States as United States. I'm blaming the big interest that has the politicians and the military-industrial complex under their, how should I put it, under their thumb. And that could trigger an accident somewhere that would escalate into something that nobody wants. Yeah, I guess there are some people that might want that. Now, this article comes from Reuters, and it is from today, December 29th, 2022. Chinese jet came within 20 feet of U.S. military aircraft. U.S. military reports. A Chinese military plane came within 20 feet, that's 6 meters, so it's about, let's say, 7 yards, of the nose of a U.S. Air Force aircraft in the contested South China Sea. You know where South China Sea is, correct? And you know where United States is, right? Right? You see? So these guys are patrolling somewhere where probably they are unwelcomed or not welcomed, and they stick their nose for the sake of the world's security. Now let's see what happened here. The close encounter followed what the United States called a recent trend of increasingly dangerous behavior. Guess by whom? By the Chinese military aircraft. Yeah, so it says here that last week this incident occurred and forced it to take evasive maneuvers to avoid collision in international airspace, the US military said on Thursday. I watched the video. You can find it on Twitter. Doesn't have this, when I found this article, didn't have the video posted or a link where you can access it, but I got away and I got it. I watched it, and you could see someone filming Chinese fighter jet coming close, and then all of a sudden this moves like this. That's all. It comes 6 meters? I don't think so. But hey, it was bad enough, just put it this way. Obviously, the Americans are blaming the Chinese for the maneuver because it was, dangerous maneuver. It was international airspace. The Chinese don't like you coming in their international space next to their country because, I don't know, if they come in their international airspace next to your country, but hey, nobody broke any laws. I'm talking about the United States of America in this case. But remember how I started this video? Accidents. The incident, which involved a Chinese Navy J-11 fighter jet and a U.S. Air Force RC-135 aircraft, took place on December 21st, and U.S. military said in a statement, and I'm quoting, "We expect all countries in the Indo-Pacific region to use international airspace safely and in accordance with international law," it added. The Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C. did not immediately respond to a request for comment. In the past, China has said that the United States sending ships and aircraft into the South China Sea is not good for peace. U.S. military planes and ships routinely carry out surveillance operations and travel through the region. China claims vast swaths of the South China Sea that overlaps with the exclusive economic zones of Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Trillions of dollars in trade flow every year through the waterway, which also contains rich fishing grounds and gas fields. In a meeting with his Chinese counterpart in November, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin raised the need to improve crisis communications and also noted that he changed what he called dangerous behavior by Chinese military planes. Despite tensions between the United States and China, U.S. military officials have long sought to maintain open lines of communication with their Chinese counterparts to mitigate the risk of potential flare-ups or deal with any accidents. And now we have Australia, who's doing something, I don't know exactly what in that area, because this is Australia. South China Sea is somewhere over there, okay? In that area over there, somewhere over there. So it's kind of like, at least I would say 6,000 kilometers, at least. But anyway, what are they doing over there? I think they make sure that the world is safe for all of us. Australia's Defense Department said in June that a Chinese fighter aircraft dangerously intercepted an Australian military surveillance plane in the South China Sea region in May. Again, where is China, where is South China Sea, and where is Australia? Nothing illegal, nothing wrong with that. But just think about it, okay? Don't you think that these guys are actually trying to something? Would you like that? Let's say your adversaries are, I don't know, in the other neighborhood, and all of a sudden, far away, and all of a sudden they start driving by, looking from their windows at your house. Would you like that? Or would you say, well, nothing to see? But if you do that, then they will be very upset. They will protest that. Australia said the Chinese jet flew close in front of the RAAF aircraft and released a bundle of chaff containing small pieces of aluminum that were ingested into the Australian aircraft engine. In June, Canada's military accused Chinese warplanes of harassing its patrol aircraft as they monitored North Korea sanctioned evasion, sometimes forcing Canadian planes to divert from their flying path. Again, Canada, where's Canada? And they are enforcing the sanctions on North Korea. So what do we have here? We have a bunch of hyenas with a big lion that they control everything, and they call that international order. And every country that is not strong enough to stand up and slap them around, the hyenas or the... So if you are big enough to smack these guys around, they don't like it. But this is what they consider to be the world order. We tell you what to do and we maintain it. And then the thing is, they don't follow their own rules. This is the thing. That means they're hypocrites. And they do something illegal. So they say the rule is like this, the order, but then they break it because you're gonna do what? Nothing. So this, at least irritates me. Imagine people that have higher stakes in this. Now, we have Canada, we have Australia, and have United States next to China. And as I said, they're in the international airspace, nothing illegal. But don't you think that the person who's driving by your house and looks at you, they're military aircraft. They're not, I don't know, something else. Anyway, relations between China and the United States have been tense because of the Taiwan and China's human rights. And then Pelosi did what she did like an idiot, but she was allowed because the Americans like to push buttons in the name of freedom, democracy. We know how that turned out for certain countries, that America brought freedom and democracy and all that bullshit. They can't even take it and keep it straight here in this country, in their country, where they limit your freedom of speech and expression just like this. They make you auto-censor or censor yourself because you would hurt someone's feelings, and you have to see things that are not there and say you don't see things that they are there. You're supposed to see these glasses as a pig, or see this cell phone and don't see it here. You look at it and say, there's nothing there. On things like this, and you hurt yourself. So, and if you say otherwise, you're going to be sanctioned really bad. How? You will not be able to probably support your family. You get fired, for instance, or who knows what else. So yeah, I like when they go everywhere on this planet and then point fingers, and here at home is garbage, and it's turning into garbage. And this is what bothers me, because I didn't sign up to this. I didn't sign up to this. And what can we do? It's still better than other places where I've been, but when I see this going down as it does, and how they, I don't know, it's the children brains in adult bodies. This is the group that leads us, and I'm wondering how the weak got to be in charge. Through democracy. I mean, Obama, Biden is not strong. Kamala is not strong. Mark Milley is not strong. Listen to them. Look at them. These are all weak. Blinken is not strong. I'm talking about strong, you know what I mean? As an individual. They're all weasels. How did they get to be over there? And people that are more able are not. What kind of method of, getting promoted is that? Where the weak, the not so good people, I would say, are in control of everybody else. How is that possible? Well, again, I will refer you to Nietzsche's morality, the master morality and the slave morality, and you will understand that the weak gang together against the strong, and they get to lead through democratic means. That's just a very easy exposure of what's going on here. That's why we have all these pieces of shit in the American Congress and as a politicians, because the system is created to have weak people, false people, weasel people, fake, phony, not the ones who are not very eloquent in speaking, but they get the job done, because they are not very how should I say it, articulated, like President Obama, former president. He was very articulate. He didn't do shit, and he didn't have any substance in his speeches, but he was very articulated. And many, many more. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.